Now, if you got hit by the proverbial bus, what would happen to your team? Or maybe you got promoted. Maybe you took some long service leave. Or maybe you took a new role with a different organization. How would your team or your business cope? Would someone from your team step up and seamlessly take the reins so the productivity remains uninterrupted? Or would everything kind of grind to a halt? Would your business then be rapidly scrambling to try and find a replacement for you because nobody else can do what you do? Too often I encounter businesses where it's the latter that is there. Not because the individuals that have left or are absent have a unique skill set or some sort of irreplaceable experience or expertise. It's simply because they haven't passed on what they know and what they do to other people. To avoid this, I reckon every leader should always be learning up and training down. So in the military, we constantly had this dual focus around capability. In addition to performing our role, we were constantly seeking to learn the role above us, and we were constantly teaching our role to those below. See, as a patrol commander, I needed to know that if I was killed on the battlefield, that one of my people could step up and competently lead our team. Likewise, if I was required to replace my commander, my own leader, then I needed to be able to perform at that next level as well. Now, this concept of learn up and train down, it's a mindset that may have been born out of a battlefield imperative, but it was reinforced through just the practical necessity during peacetime as well. See, whether it was because of injury or maybe we'd been sent away on a training course, maybe we had an individual that was pulled out and assigned to another team that got deployed on operations overseas, there were always these leadership gaps that needed to be filled. And we can only fill a leadership gap if people were at least in part trained to operate at that next level, to do the job above. So, what about you and your workplace? Well, your workplace is likely not going to be a battlefield. However, the requirement to retain continuity of leadership when individual leaders are absent absolutely will remain. In most work settings, whether it's extended leave or secondments or promotions, there are going to be leadership gaps that occur. And I would argue that it's part of your responsibility as a leader to make sure any gap that you might leave is able to be filled by your team. Now, doing this, it not only builds a capability reserve and a bench strength for your business to draw on when vacancies occur and crises come, it also provides this other range of benefits, right? You're creating an organic leadership development pipeline. So you're preparing people for promotion on the job as you do what you do day to day. You're training people in the work that you do, which makes it possible and also easier for you to delegate and that therefore share the workload. It frees you up to be more strategic. And the other benefit for your people is that they end up being more strategic as well, because the insights that they take from operating at your level and doing the work that you do, well, that will inform the decisions that they make at their level as well. All right, so they benefit too. So we should always be, I believe, learning up and teaching down. So where do we get started? You may be listening to me going, Cliff, great idea, great in theory, but it all sounds like it takes an inordinate amount of time. Something to add on top of your already Everest your grade workload, right? But it doesn't have to be the case. See, learn up, train down is as much a mindset as it is a set of tasks or something that you do. And when you begin to think that way, you begin to see a myriad of opportunities around you to involve the people in what you're already doing so that learning takes place. Here are a couple of simple steps, right? If you want to learn up, Learn up. So learning your manager, your leader's role. Seek out opportunities, and it can be as simple as asking the question, "Hey, can I help?" Most managers will love you for making the offer. Very few will reject the prospect of assistance. And so by assisting in their workload, you learn to do their work, all right? Understand their thinking is another really important one here. I mean, you may not be doing the work of your manager, but understand how they do it and how they think about it becomes really important and part of this whole process. So when a manager or a leader makes a decision or a business makes a change that you don't understand, find out why. All right, ask what are the considerations that have led to the position that's been adopted or taken. The more you understand the decisions that are made at the next level, the more you can engage in higher level thinking at your level, and if you need to, at the next level. Oh, so when we want to train down, right? Train down. So find opportunities and provide opportunities to people. Almost anything that you do can be an opportunity to develop others if you choose to make it one. So whether it's a task that you get people to do, whether it's a decision you want them to make instead of you making, maybe it's attending a meeting either with you or on behalf of you. Involving people in the process helps them learn the mechanics of your role. It helps expose them to the things that you have to deal with. Also encourage your team to train down. So if you are a leader of leaders, then it's important for you to role model the principle, but also to get them to perpetuate the principle, right? It's not just a matter of you doing it. You need your team to do it as well. Okay, and sometimes you need them to do it to free up some space so that you can delegate work down to them, right? It's exactly the same. If you're going to do some of your leaders' work as part of this process, you might need to delegate some of your work down. That might mean your team need to delegate their work further down the organization, okay? So the reason that most leaders don't take steps to build this in as a habit is that they're so focused on getting work done themselves. And they fail to realize that they become the bottleneck or the single point of failure in the business or the department, the team. They themselves are unwittingly becoming an organizational risk. They fall into the trap of ignoring the very thing that's not only going to free them up, but also make themselves, their teams, and their businesses more resilient. Is that you? Is that the trap that you're in? My challenge to you is this. Look at your calendar for Monday. What is the one thing that you could expose a team member to? Is it a report they could draft, a meeting they could attend, a client that they could call? Start small, but make sure you start. Until next time, lead well.